Hi everyone, if you watched last week's vlog, you will know full well that I'm stood in the exact same spot wearing the exact same clothing. And yeah, this is the start of this week's reading vlog. This vlog is going to be Sunday to Friday, as I think I'm going to film a separate Bookoplathon vlog next weekend. That's my current plan. I might change my mind midweek. So I'm just popping in from very in the future to let you know that this vlog is no longer going to be separate from the Bookopoly vlog. I'm going to combine the two together because, well, you'll see later in the video. This vlog is going to contain, for the most part, me trying to plough through a lot more of House of Leaves. I'm really enjoying it. Although a lot of the chapter that I was reading yesterday was really hard going. I mean, I was reading it for most of the afternoon and I just felt like I was getting nowhere. Yeah, I'm currently on page 144 and it was just such a really dense chapter and everything was just so all over the place. If you watched last week's vlog, you will see that I showed a picture of, well, I shared a clip of what that chapter was going to look like page by page, and yeah, it was just so hard going. I mean, it was fun kind of turning the book this way and that way and also reading it in the mirror, but yeah, it was just a bit of a dense mess and I wasn't always able to follow much plot, and I don't feel like there was even an awful lot of plot there in some cases. It was just a lot of lists of things and it was just really long and droning on, but that was really clever at the same time because we were talking about labyrinths and gravity and it just all twisted together in some really clever way. So I think it's really clever. It was just a bit of a boring chapter and I've still not finished it, so that will be what I'll be hoping to do a bit later on, I think, or otherwise tomorrow, I'm not sure yet. I will also be trying to finish the Wallflower Wager this week because that will get me all caught up on the current series that I am reading of Tessa Dare's, the Girl Meets Duke series. Beyond that, I think I'll be listening to more Dexter audiobooks. Don't want to commit to anything else beyond that, but yeah, I'm hoping to get great progress in all of those. But for now, I need to go back to editing both last week's vlog and also the one that I'm trying to get up today, which is the mishmash one. So yeah, it's Monday morning. I don't feel like I'm even being slightly dramatic when I say yesterday was just a total write-off. Reading? What reading? I did actually read a teeny bit of the Wallflower Wager in bed, but it was less than a chapter because I was dozing. Editing? What editing? I did finally get up the video of Doom, which I've been having a lot of trouble with. Everything from it taking up too much space on my drive, to not being able to export because I didn't have the space, to Final Cut refusing to upload it through there instead. It was a headache. Finally got around it. Gonna dodge making ridiculously long videos in the future, and that was a one-off just because I really wanted to just get back to being able to get vlogs up weekly again, so I needed that out of the way first. So today I have the house to myself until Luke gets in from work later anyway. I'm so excited at the prospect of finally doing some damn reading. I want to do some editing too today. The editing I needed to get done yesterday. The main primary focus of the day is I just want to see how much of this I can get into. So yeah, I'm on page 144, I think. But I feel like once I get over that chapter, I'm just going to have such a better time with this book. This seems like the most dense area of text, this chapter, and then after that things look a lot more just normal or very sparse. So I feel like from here on out I should make faster progress. So I just need to get through the rest of this chapter, which has been so hard going. I feel like this book is infamous at this point for people struggling to get through it. And until this chapter I hadn't really understood it because sure, it's a bit dense in places. The writing style's difficult to get into. But if you're determined enough to read it, it's quite easy to pull yourself through until this chapter. This chapter is such hard work. It's really... If I wasn't stubborn and determined to want to finish this book and experience this book properly, I just think fuck it and put it to one side, honestly, because it's a lot. It's really heavy. It's really dense. It's not always a very enjoyable experience, but I am still interested enough to want to know where we're going from here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on some old reading sprints that people have been doing, and I'm just going to read to sprints because I'm rubbish at not reading sprints now, and it's very rare I catch sprints live. So I just have to just watch other ones sometimes, because if I read sprints, it means I'll still get other things done. Like I'll actually move and get myself some breakfast. I'll actually move and do some washing. I'll actually move and, you know, just get little bits done in between just sitting here vegetating, reading. Plus it'll just help keep me focused, because I feel like I'm really going to struggle to pull myself through the rest of this chapter. And sprints might be just what I need to help me with that. I'm still taking part in my first sprint of the day. It was a 25-minute sprint, and I'm not sure how far we are in because I don't actually know what time is on this video versus what time I am in, since it's not live. But I am happy to report that I have just managed to get to the start of chapter 10. I hope this is the beginning of me starting to fall back in love with the book at this point, because that last chapter was just so painful. And yeah, I still think it was really clever, because the whole point of it was it being painful. Like the bit where we're on the Navidson record, that part was hard work for the people involved, because they're trying to find out what's going on with the house, and that's sending them on a labyrinth. Meanwhile, reading this chapter, the experience of it was a labyrinth. And so it was so clever, but I feel like if people make it that far, that's the chapter where a lot of people probably just stop reading, because that was an experience. And also I was getting really pissed off because it would tell me to go to a certain footnote, so I would. And that footnote would send me to another footnote, usually on another page. And that footnote would send me to another footnote, usually on another page again. And I'd end up to the point where I can't even find the next footnote that it wants me to damn well go to. I can't remember how I even got there. And I can't find my way back to where I even was. And I totally get that is the whole point, and it was really disorientating, and it's like that for the characters too. But my God, was that an irritating reading experience, and I'm glad that chapter is over. And I'm hoping for more fun things to come now that the worst chapter is definitely over. Okay, it's like 2:30 in the afternoon. I've been doing quite a bit of reading. I've made a good 100 pages of progress today. I'm just jumping on quickly to give an update, because I've just read a bit that was really quite disturbing, and I feel like it's worth warning people that if you're thinking about picking up House of Leaves, that there is a really awfully, I mean, there's loads of content warnings needed for this book, but specifically right now I just wanted to warn for the fact of animal abuse, specifically a dog, and more specifically than that, to the point of death. I mean, that last page I just read was so hard to read. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's kind of made me not want to carry on reading for today, but I'm going to push through, going to keep going, because I've got a good couple of hours spare yet. And I'd like to carry on making progress. And at the end of the day, I did sign myself up for a horror book. But still, that's the first thing in this book that I felt is really unnecessary out of all the different things that have happened. I mean, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. I can't even begin to explain what else. It's just been absolutely crazy, and it's been the first thing that I've genuinely thought that didn't need to be there. That really didn't need to be there. I swear I have moved from this spot a few times today, but it is now nearly 4 p.m. and I am about to make it to page 313, which is chapter 13, and so I'm going to leave it there for today because, first of all, I made insane progress. So what page was I on when I started? Let's have a look. Yeah, I've read like over 150 pages today, and it's starting to fry my brain a little bit. It's also killing my wrist because so damn heavy. But I just felt like this looked a really good place to stop because I've got quite a chunk of text going on there, and it continues a chunk of text for several pages after that. We're over the weird pages that I've just been doing recently, where sometimes there's only a few lines on the page. And so this seems a really smart place to leave it, because I do want to carry on reading for today, but I am done with House of Leaves. My brain can't take anymore. But also I'm thinking, this book might say it's 700 pages, but a lot of it is just like appendix or random other stuff at the back. So I'm thinking I probably have like less than 200 pages of stuff I've not read yet. Because I've actually read a lot of the appendices already, because you're linked to them throughout your reading experience. So I feel like I'm starting to get through it now. I can finish this week. That is my goal. I want to be done with this before Friday. So yeah, I'm now going to jump into the Wallflower Wager, and any reading I do for the rest of today will definitely be that, because I just need something light and easy now, which was the whole point of me reading that series at the same time as this book anyway. So I'm just doing as I planned to do. It's now Wednesday. I'm having a very weird kind of week. So Monday I was like, oh my God, I want to do all the reading. And so I did. Yesterday I woke up and thought, I don't want to do anything, and felt really burnt out. So I didn't do an awful lot yesterday. I watched a bit of Disney Plus. I can't tell you what else I did. Not a clue. So today I woke up and thought, oh my God, I want to do all the reading. So that's what I'm going to do. I do need to finish editing, but I want to read. I'm desperate to read, so I'm just going to go along with it. I'm going to spend all of this afternoon reading House of Leaves. I'm about to get stuck in, and I'm going to whack on some ambient sounds in the background on YouTube, I think, and that will satisfy my cozy need to just read solidly. I mean, I will stop for lunch and drinks breaks and stretch a little bit, but overall I'm planning to just read pretty solidly this afternoon and see if I can get this close to done. I'm on page 313. I don't feel like I'm a million miles away from finishing it at this point. So it's now Thursday. What the hell am I doing with my week, honestly? So yesterday I read the grand total of not many pages at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, well done me. I read 5 pages yesterday. And I've just realised I wasn't in the mood, and I ended up just putting Lost on instead. I started rewatching Lost from the beginning because I obviously needed to do that, and I watched a few episodes of that. And then the evening I wasted just, I don't even know what I did. Honestly, what did I do last night? It just feels like such a waste. And so I was having a bit of a crisis this morning. I was thinking, I just want to read, but I don't want to read. And then I was like, I probably do want to read something different to the Wallflower Wager, which I'm enjoying. I just haven't been in the mood for. And I was bitching to Aoife, as I do. And she was like, sounds like you're a mood reader. And I was like, actually, yeah. And I don't know when this transition happened, because I definitely never used to be a mood reader. I used to be able to just line up which books I was going to read in order throughout a month and relatively stick to it. Don't get me wrong, some months I'd go a bit AWOL, and there'd be the occasional month here or there where I would know that I was being a mood reader and it wouldn't really bother me. It'd just feel like a one-off thing. But I feel like this has been a thing developing for potentially, at this point, a couple of years. I'm just really sad because it makes my reading life so complicated. Like, I have plans for books that I want to read in the next couple of weeks. I've tried to cut back the planning overall, which is why the vlogs aren't themed anymore. But I still had some basic themes going on for the next couple of weeks, basically till the end of March. So first of all, obviously, I'm actually, God, I nearly hit myself with this brick then. I'm actually definitely still in the mood to read this. I just couldn't handle it yesterday. It's a bit much, and some days I just can't take it, but that's to be expected with that book. The Wallflower Wager, I don't know. I just don't feel fully in the mood for right now. And what do I feel is calling out to me? Well, I'd love to pick up a fantasy. For some reason, I was watching Brandon Sanderson videos yesterday, and I can't explain why. Because if you'd asked me yesterday if I could pick up any book, would it have been a Brandon Sanderson? The answer would probably have been no. But I'm in the mood for some fantasy. And I'm worried that if I pick up some fantasy, tomorrow I'll probably be in the mood for, like, non-fiction. It's such a what the hell is going on with me kind of situation. So to talk through what my plans were, I wanted to take part in Bookoplathon this weekend because I don't really take part in many readathons, probably because I'm a mood reader and just didn't fully realise it. I don't take part in many readathons as I get burnt out more than anything usually. Like, I start off strong and then I just give up. But I feel like the whole idea of this being live and there being, like, always a channel if I want to pop onto, if I need a bit of motivation, there will be a video of people talking and reading and having reading sprints. I think that will really help me, so I want to try this one out. And it should still suit my mood reading situation because you don't know what you're going to be reading until the roll drops happen. So I have options and I can just pick what suits. And I own enough books to be able to twist whatever I'm in the mood for into a prompt if need be too. So I feel like that will work. But then my plans Monday onwards were to pick up a couple of Irish reads because we are quite a way into the month and I haven't yet read any Irish themed books, any Irish author books. And obviously I want to support the Irish readathon. So, and that was also going to be my chance to pick up some more of the BookTube bestie books for Aoife because 3 books that I need to pick up for her fit into that theme. So I was going to read those 3 next week along with anything else I felt in the mood for, ironically. And then after that, I was going to try and rush through rereading You and Hidden Bodies in order to read You Love Me because I have an arc for that. And it's probably my joint most anticipated book of the year along with Malibu Rising. So I haven't actually got an arc of Malibu Rising, but I have got an arc of You Love Me. And so I was going to try and delve into that ASAP too, as that comes out early April. And so that leaves me with a bit like, because now I'm start thinking, am I actually in the mood to reread You? I'm not sure. Possibly. But will I be in the mood to reread You and Hidden Bodies and still pick up You Love Me by the end of all that? And I'm really scared I won't be in that. I won't get to it in time, and that makes me sad because it's such an anticipated release. I just want to hit myself over the head right now and just be able to read what I plan to read. But my plans for reading are always what I was in the mood to read at the time I made the plan, I suppose. And then I get a few weeks later to the time where the plan is meant to be happening, and by then I'm in the mood for something else. And Aoife was like, oh, why don't you just give mood reading an actual go and just go with it and just pick stuff up? But my concern if I do that is that I'm going to end up with 10 plus books on the go at once, possibly. It could happen. It really could happen. I've done it in the past when I've had a brief spell of mood reading in the past. But then things righted themselves. But I'm thinking, I wonder how long I've been a mood reader for and just had been in denial, because I had a year where I read over 100 books. It was only just over 100, but that year was such a good reading year. And since then, I've really struggled. And I think it's probably around that time that the switch started happening changing between reading what I plan and being a mood reader. And I just hadn't noticed it because I've managed to read decent amounts each year, but because I'm forcing myself through something that I'm no longer in the mood for in some cases, I just haven't been able to have the same enthusiasm. So I'm reading a lot slower. That's the main thing I've noticed. I can, unlike some mood readers, make myself read something regardless and probably end up enjoying it to an extent if the book is good enough. But I just don't know what to do. I suppose in the next clips throughout the rest of this vlog, you will know what I'm going to do because it will become visible. I mean, actually right now, I am in the mood for this, and so I'm going to try and read a bit more of it before I make myself some lunch. This afternoon, I want to do some cleaning, so I will probably stick my audiobook on, as I think I'm in the mood for Dexter still. Don't think I'm having a problem with that right now. So I'll do that. Also, really need to sort out the video that was meant to be up like Tuesday and it's now Thursday, so I should probably sort that. But yeah, my major reading problems will come tonight because I was going to jump on the reading sprints being hosted by Leanne, I think it was. I was going to pop on there tonight as Victoria's on there, and she was feeling a bit nervous, so I told her I would pop on just as like moral support. And I do enjoy reading to a good reading sprint, but the time's a bit awkward, so I'm not sure how much reading I'll be able to get done, as I'll be cooking tea around that time. But yeah, I really want to be in the mood to be reading whatever I'm reading at the time. And so I need to work out what to read for that sprint. Now, it'll have to be a Kindle book because evening is definitely Kindle book time, as the lighting in my reading corner's not yet set up for physical books, which is why even if I'm in the mood to read this of an evening, unless I want to sit at the kitchen table, it's not happening. So, what to do and hitting myself in the face is definitely not what I want to do. Okay, I ended up reading further than I intended. I ended up finishing the chapter off totally, which I wasn't originally going to do. I was just going to kind of get it to another kind of chapter break point. But I finished the chapter. That takes me up to the beginning of chapter 14. And that last chapter was so intense. Like, the horror aspect started sliding in a little bit. And it wasn't scary. It was a tiny bit gross, but not really. It was more just unsettling. And also, it really picked up the pace. I was like on the edge of the seat. Like, that is what you read for. Things like that are what can help you when you feel a bit of a mood reader, can help keep you invested in a book. Like, I'm invested in this and don't see my mood for reading this disappearing anytime soon. Though it is now time for me to go and make myself some lunch. And then I am going to clean. So I might not be picking this up for the rest of today, although if I can fit a bit more in later, then I will. But as I said, I'll be reading on my Kindle later, and so I'm not sure what to do about that still. I'll have to see what I'm in the mood for at the time. The Wallflower Wager is definitely a possibility still, just because I can't bring myself to stop reading it, even temporarily, and start something else. It just seems so silly, like, just read the damn book. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it's Friday. I've been waiting to do this update for a while because I kept thinking that something might change and I might be able to still have some sort of constructive day. I mean, I've had a constructive day, just not in terms of reading. Basically, this morning I woke up with the migraine from hell, which is sad, but not the end of the world, because today was never going to be a mega heavy reading day anyway, because Becca's Bookopoly starts at midnight tonight, which is when I want to be able to read for, and I don't know whether I'm going to be able to take part at all, because my migraines usually last for 2 to 3 days. Really hoping that's not the case. I needed to still sort out the video for this week, so I've been trying to sort it out, and I've got it uploaded to YouTube, but I just can't stand staring at my laptop screen. Like, I'm really struggling even to film this clip because I film on my phone and I can see my phone screen, and it's just, oh, the pain. So, I mean, I was always going to be ending this vlog today anyway, so that's something at least. Last night I did take part in the sprints like I said I would, and I actually ended up reading The Wallflower Wager just because it suited so well to sprints. Sprints, you can literally get interrupted in the middle of a sentence, and a book like The Wallflower Wager works perfectly for that. So I actually got through a decent amount, and I was originally hoping to potentially read a bit more of that today and get it finished, but never mind. I also wanted to read House of Leaves, I don't know where I've put it, today, and potentially get that finished, but never mind. I guess I'll pick those both up from Monday onwards in the next vlog, although I also then want to read Irish stuff next week. Hi everyone, and welcome to this weekend's reading vlog, which is going to be covering me trying to take part in Bookoplathon, which is a 48-hour readathon being hosted by Becca and the Books. And that starts in just under an hour. Meanwhile, this weekend is also the 24-hour portion of the Irish readathon. So if I can somehow manage to combine these both, then I will. Because of the way Bookoplathon works, I don't currently know what most of the prompts are going to be, so I don't know whether I can combine this somehow or not yet. We shall see. So the first two prompts were mentioned in her announcement video, and those were that you could either, or both potentially for the first 12 hours, read a book with a dark cover and or read a fantasy. I'd like to do both. I've got a few options available, such as Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Truth Witch has darker bits on it by Susan Dennard. I'd got some others noted down, but I've not brought the pad up with me of notes. But those were my two most likely. I was also considering maybe Jade City by Fonda Lee, but I've not looked into how long that one is. Whereas Piranesi is quite short. And meanwhile, Truth Witch is YA, I think, so should be an easier read. But yeah, until midnight hits, don't know for sure what I'm going to read. And it's going to be a trying anyway, because if you watched my most recent reading vlog, you will know that I've actually been suffering with a migraine today. I woke up with an absolutely awful migraine. I've still got it. I'm drugged up to the eyeballs right now, and it's still there in the background. It's not as awful as it could be, but it's still there. I'll definitely be able to start reading at 12, but I'm not sure how much I'll be able to without being in pain. Also, with it being live, I might just stick the YouTube live on of it and see what time we actually end up reading, because if it ends up being late, I'll probably just go to sleep before the reading properly starts anyway and start reading tomorrow morning. We shall see. My ideal would have been to start reading something today, because you can read something that you've already started. But that has not happened, so I'll catch up with you once the readathon has started. Sorry, the lighting for this clip is going to be horrendous, but I decided to go for Piranesi by Susanna Clarke because it said that its average reading time is about 4 hours. Now, I've learned from previous books that I'm always slower than it says, but 4 hours is still not bad. Probably means I can do it in maybe 6. Either way, this will be my last update from me today, because I'm not sure what time I'm going to read till, but it will be done in bed soon and I will go to sleep. So in the morning, you may get more updates, or it may be a bit later in the morning once I'm properly awake and not quite so groggy. But yeah, Piranesi. Quite excited for this one. It's one that I've seen quite a few people reading, reviewing, enjoying, and my one worry with this was that it is in some ways quite similar to House of Leaves. It's about something to do with a house and a labyrinth and never-ending corridors, so I was a little bit wary of picking it up for that reason. I really don't want to confuse the two, so I'm hoping that doesn't end up becoming a problem. Oh dear, frizzy hair. So it is coming up to 11:30 on Saturday morning. I read till about 2ish last night. I don't remember exactly what time, and I was really enjoying it, but the combination of the migraine, which I've still got, and also just tiredness meant that I just couldn't do it anymore, so I stopped and went to sleep. Slept really poorly because migraine just kept waking me up, and woke up at 8ish this morning. I've been sprinting on and off since, using the live sprints, and I've got to, I think it's at like 48% so far of Piranesi. I can't tell you what this book's about. It's so bizarre. So the one thing I can tell you about it is that it is weird. We have the labyrinth idea. We have some characters whose motives I don't really properly understand, whose situations I don't really properly understand. I'm just generally rather confused, but in a good way. And I'm really enjoying the writing. It's just got such wonderful descriptions. So I'm having a good time. And I'm glad I picked it up, actually, because if I was in a better headspace to be reading more solidly, I do think I would be done with this book by now. It's so short and wonderful. So in the next 45 minutes or so, a new roll drop will happen, and I won't be done with Piranesi, but it won't take me long into the afternoon to be done with it, and then I need to look through what the new prompts will be and try and find something that works for those two prompts and also works for the Irish Readathon, because that is today. That started at midnight as well. I had some poor datage going on there, and I will be popping onto their live sprints later to show my support and want to be reading an Irish book. So, or at the very least, if I'm mega desperate, a green cover, but I would prefer to be reading an Irish author. So I'm really hoping these prompts make that doable. To try and hit 3 things all at once might be a challenge. But I'm going to stop waffling now and get on with finishing off the chores I'm doing and doing some more reading. And then I also need to make some lunch / brunch / just some sort of food. Oh dear, the state of my hair. So it's now Sunday morning. I didn't really do any more vlogging yesterday because the migraine really took over. So I don't know, oh dear, I don't know what the last thing I even vlogged was. Basically, as an update, I finished Piranesi and I ended up giving it 4 stars. I'm not sure I can explain what it was fully about, even remotely. I enjoyed it, but the ending took a twist, and I was kind of on board with the twist, and I was like, okay, cool. This book is weird. I accept it's weird. I'm accepting of this twist. And then the very, very last page, the last paragraph or so, I was like, wait, what does this mean? And so now I'm just mega confused. So if you read Piranesi, please drop me a comment down below with what you made of literally like the very last paragraph or so. Because I'm questioning now like what we were meant to think of that. I mean, is it setting up for some weird sequel? Is it just one of those open-ended endings I need to get a grip of? I don't like deciding something for myself. So then the second roll drop was to read a book with POC rep or to read a contemporary, because I want to try and get both into one. I tried to get something that was suitable for both of those, but because of the Irish Readathon as well, and taking part in sprints last night for that, which I really enjoyed, I needed it to be Irish author related, ideally, too. And then I had a brainwave, The Henna Wars. I've not researched how to say this author's name, and so I'm not going to, because I will just say it wrong at this second. And I'm on my phone filming, so I can't Google at the same time as filming a clip. So yeah, I listened to The Henna Wars. I listened to most of that last night because of my migraine. I was just not going to be doing any physical reading. Went to bed, still listening to it. Fell asleep listening to it, really annoyed with myself. Woke up this morning, still got a bit of the migraine, by the way. Had to work out where I was when I fell asleep last night. Carried on listening to it, fell asleep again. Honestly, migraines just make me so sleepy. It was such pain. So I think I've got about 40 minutes left, which is what I'm about to finish doing now. But I did catch up on the midnight drops last night as well. And those drops were a bit more difficult to combine into one book. So the first one was to read the first book in a series, easy peasy. But the second one was a chance card. And it was suggested that you could number generate a book from your TBR to do that. So I picked one of the folders on my Kindle, which had 400-ish books in it. And I random number generated a number between 1 and whatever it was. And it gave me 61. So I looked through the Kindle, went to book 61. And you'd think that I've faked this and somehow cheated. If I'd have been filming the process, you'd have assumed that I'd just faked the filming even, because it's just not believable that book 61 was the first book in a series. But it genuinely was. It was Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, which, better than that, I own it as a Kindle book and as an audiobook. So if my migraine bothers me, I can just listen to the audiobook a bit. If I want to do a bit of actual reading, I can read the Kindle book a bit. So I'm really excited and feel really lucky. That worked out far too perfectly without me even cheating it. So yeah, that is going to keep me going until the next roll drops and beyond. So I'll find out what the next roll drops are as they drop, and I'll try to get everything done in time ready for midnight tonight. It's gonna be a tight one. So, Bookopoly, or the Bookoplathon. Yeah. What you've seen is as far as I got. I stopped at that point, went on a massive Sims binge, and was totally burnt out and didn't want to read anymore. And so I didn't. So that is the end of that. And so I'm also going to end this vlog here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you soon. Bye bye.